Fellow Toastmasters, we've all had an opportunity to make a big move in our lives at this point. Is there anybody here who hasn't done it? Well, in 2011, while having dinner at my mother's house for Thanksgiving, it occurred to me that I probably should come to Florida and be with my family. So I went back to Detroit, pulled together all my most prized, precious, sentimental possessions, and called my good friend, Jesse, who was also a resource person like me, and said, do you know anybody who can use a bunch of things? And he said, of course. He goes, there's a guy recovering from a divorce. I said, tell him to come and get it. And he has to do it by Friday because I'm heading to Florida. He said, I'm going to miss you, blah, 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 and the rest is history. So I come to Florida. I realized immediately that my family, who had been there decades before, had adjusted to living with each other and not so much living with each other where I was concerned. So it was probably not the best idea to live right there. And they live up in the Gulf area around Brandon, or not Brandon, Hudson and Brooksville and that kind of thing. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna try the ocean. This will be awesome. I went to the ocean, and much to all your well-being, I'm not staying at the ocean because I would be a burden to all of you, because I get instantly mesmerized by the ocean. Can't function, not even to lift a phone. Shocked me, because that's not who I am. Went back, ended up putting a deposit on a place in Oldsmar. Still didn't feel right, so I thought, okay, maybe it was that part of the ocean. So I went to Vero, and lo and behold, I found out the same thing held true. I cannot live at the ocean. So I cruised back down 60, and there I was, pulled off the road in a place I had never been before, but instantly felt a connection. Drove around, found a mall. I said, okay, I can make some kind of living. They have a mall. They have a Starbucks. There's got to be people here. Found out it's Lake Wales, center of the state. I said, oh, I can get around. I can go check out all these places in Florida. No big deal. Bam. 2 hours later, have the keys to my new apartment in a place called the Preserves. I'm a gardening person. Perfect for me. It's on the first floor. I can do catering. All set to go. So while I was laying there that night, very roughing it, because literally I was not going to drive back, I started thinking, this is quite a move, a difference from where you were coming from Detroit, everything else. But it really was not my most significant move. Immediately a memory came back. When I was 11 years old, living in Detroit, my mother came home and decided she was going to move us on the White Flight cruise to another community. She had just been divorced, and there she was going to take her maiden name. That's right, so we moved to a new community, and I go into my first class and hear, oh, there must be a typo. Oh, Shelly squared. That's right. My mother's last name, her maiden name, Shelly. Shelly. It really did have an impact on the rest of my life. I developed a little bit of a sarcastic sense of humor during the course of my junior high school years. I got used to being the Shelly person, you know, that Shelly girl. So then, there we were, coming back and thinking, still not my most significant thing. Because when I graduated, I blew off my scholarships, moved back to Detroit, right at the heart of where those riots started, was going to be a Detroit pioneer, and there I was, working. I still planned to go to college, so I got a job as a bartender in a chop house, Berman's Chop House. I had spent 10 years previously working in the restaurants. Nobody asked your age back then. Just as long as you showed up, acted maturely, and did your job, you were good to go. So there I was. And the night I worked there, I met several people who would change my life forever. All stories amongst themselves, but the most significant of which was a man named Wellington Stratton III. His commonly known as Kip. He ended up being the best man in my wedding. And he also was a partner in a place called Independence Health Plan. That place was the first private HMO in Michigan. He recruited me to be a doctor recruiter for the HMOs, and I did that along with my job and going to school, and loved it. The marketing person there was a man named Chris Paros. A handsome, good-looking guy, 54-inch chest, perfect hair, impeccable dresser. My best friend, total trust, my husband. You would think that those would be significant moves. Still not there. I laid there thinking, still not there. In 2001, on Memorial Weekend, my husband went to the hospital, and 5 weeks later, passed away of brain cancer because he had self-diagnosed, and left my Irish 10-year-old twins and I in shock. I had a restaurant under reconstruction. I had all kinds of things going on. My kids did too. I had to move a 3,200 square foot house, a 1,500 square foot penthouse, all into another world that would fit the lifestyle of trying to run businesses and everything else that my attorney and the man who served as our best man tried to go after and get. So in 2004, I sat there in a blizzard. My life came to a screeching halt. That blizzard changed my life. That blizzard was my most significant move. Everybody kept trying to tell me, Shelly, it's what you do when the hurricane blows that will make the difference. Tell God your plan. He needs a good chuckle today. So there I was looking at all the books. I was stuck in the house. It was snowing. My kids had friends they could get to. They were outside. And I looked, and the only book I hadn't read there was this one. So I started reading it, and I realized all the silly, stupid decisions I had made from 2001 to 2004 were fear-based. And if I had just trusted in silence and listening to within, there I would be. And from then on, my decisions came out better, more calm, and more effective. Certainly moving, certainly life-changing. Mr. Toastmaster.